Hi. Some tutors have been asking for a bit more guidance on how Prevent works at LaSalle's. So today I'm going to talk you through how we go about Prevent. You should by now all have done your LCC online Prevent training and have a grasp of what the Prevent agenda is around. Prevent, as you'll be aware, is one part of the government's counter-terrorism strategy, and as the name suggests, it's the bit which is about trying to prevent people from getting drawn into radicalisation, extremism, etc., etc. And the Prevent duty, which is a legal duty on us as public servants, if you like, and particularly us as educators, requires us to take some steps around the Prevent agenda. So today what I'm going to focus on is what the expectations are of tutors and how this might look kind of in practical terms. So it splits down into three areas really: e-safety, learner welfare, and promotion of British values. So if we start with e-safety, there are a few things which pull together in terms of e-safety. The first one is about teaching learners how to use technology safely to protect themselves and families and communities from exploitation, radicalisation or abuse online. And that means everything from being aware of using safe passwords, of how to block users on social media type sites. So we're not talking about anything highly sophisticated here, it's basic e-safety. And part of our strategy around e-safety this year has been embedded in the concept of getting learners to build their personal learning network. Now, build your personal learning network, or BIPLIN or BioPLIN or whatever else it's been shortened to, includes e-safety, and therefore it's part of our Prevent strategy, but it's not its main purpose. Build your personal learning network is all about extending learning outside the classroom and making the most of technology for learning. But it does include e-safety, and therefore it forms part of our approach to Prevent. Probably one of the most important things you can do as a tutor is to discuss e-safety in class when you're promoting technology, or just when it comes up in conversation. Talk about safe password, talk about the risk of fraud, talk about how to use parental controls. It's about taking every opportunity to cover these issues rather than having separate sessions on e-safety. The other thing we'll be doing is having a whole range of kind of cross-service campaigns around e-safety, and you can help that by distributing leaflets, by drawing learners' attention to posters, etc. We're doing that because it's one way in which we can make sure that the message gets across all our learners. And obviously, depending on the course that you're teaching, it might be more or less relevant. Different campaigns might resonate more with some than others. That's fine. The other aspect, obviously, is about planning specific course content relevant to the subject and teaching methods. You know better than I do what's relevant to your subject. If you're teaching IT, then e-safety will clearly form a significant part of your course. If you're teaching flower arranging, probably less so. But if there are opportunities and you can build it in, please make sure you do. If you're unsure, please ask for some more help. Bear with me a second. So we've put up on the Teaching, Learning and Assessment Resources site, this one here, a whole lot of resources about teaching e-safety and digital citizenship. And digital citizenship is another way to come at this subject. How can we be good, responsible citizens online? And through that, picking up on things like cyberbullying, etc. as well. So it doesn't matter how you go about it, but please do try to embed something of this agenda in your teaching this year. So that's e-safety, which links into the Prevent agenda because we know that the internet and social media are such an important kind of recruiting ground for radicalisation and extremism. The second element that as a tutor you might be involved with, less likely, but it is possible, and because it's possible you need to know what to do in those circumstances, is around learner welfare and safeguarding. Again, you should all have completed your Prevent training, and there's safeguarding training online as well if you haven't done face-to-face safeguarding training with me in the past. The key thing here is just to understand that vulnerability to exploitation and radicalisation is a safeguarding matter, and that you have a responsibility to raise safeguarding concerns immediately. So if you think about radicalisation as a form of grooming, just like child sexual exploitation, some people are more vulnerable towards that sort of grooming than others, and That's what we're trying to spot early, intervene in, try and avoid anything more coming of it. So I've included here kind of some of the possible signs of radicalisation. I'm not going to go through them just now. If you've got a concern, just like with any other safeguarding thing, if you've got a concern, if you've got a gut instinct, please do give me a ring, drop me an email, and we'll talk it through. And if anything needs to be done, we'll take it from there. Again, there's a whole lot of resources in the Staff Filing Cabinet and Tutor Toolkit, both about the prevent side of safeguarding, but also other safeguarding issues as well. So please do have a look there. And this is just a reminder of our LASAL safeguarding procedure. If a crime is being committed, you call 999, okay? You don't put yourself at risk. You don't investigate any allegations yourself. That's really important because actually you can do more harm than good by investigating yourself. As I've said, if you've got any concerns, even if you're thinking, oh, maybe it's nothing, give me a ring or speak to your manager and we'll take it from there. It's better to have had a chat about it and to reassure yourself than at a later date to wish you had spoken up earlier. Clearly, if someone does disclose something to you or you see something, you must tell them that you're obliged to tell your manager and that you're concerned about their or perhaps somebody else's, a child or whatever's safety. And again, really important, don't promise to keep secrets. You can't keep secrets. You're a public servant, you're in employment. It's your legal responsibility to disclose. Okay, that was just a bit of a refresher, really. Then the next element is around this concept of British values. So as teachers, as educators, we're being required to promote British values. And there's three key ways that we're doing that. One is about setting clear ground rules in groups. That's not new, we've always done that. Doing that induction, making reference to British values, and here are our British values at the bottom, and the fact that that's outlined in the Learner Handbook. Needn't take more than a few seconds just to point it out, but I think it's really important. The next one is around taking advantage of natural opportunities for discussion, a bit like the e-safety one. If there's a discussion kicking off in your classroom, it's really important, about, I don't know, individual liberty or mutual respect, that you take that opportunity to have that discussion. That if people are speaking out of turn or making statements that aren't in line with British values, that you challenge that, just as you would with an equality and diversity issue in your class. I think the one thing, if we go back to our friends at Ofsted, that they will be most concerned about is if they see an opportunity that's missed. They may ask learners whether the British values are being promoted, and learners may or may not know whether they are. But a key thing is if there's an opportunity for discussion, for debate, and it's missed, that is a problem. Don't worry about deviating from your lesson plan for a little bit because this opportunity has arisen. Okay, that's fine. In some cases, it might be appropriate to plan relevant learning activities that are around British values. And again, that's great. It won't be appropriate for every class, but particularly in classes that are discussion-based. I know you're always looking for topics to talk about, and democracy or different faiths and beliefs, that all fits in really, really well. What I would ask is that where you are promoting British values in class, either in a planned way or in a responsive way because something's come up and you've been able to pick up on it, do record those in your lesson plan, in your lesson reflection if it's something that's come up in class that was unplanned for. Because again, that will give you evidence when our friends from Ofsted call to show that we are promoting British values. Talked about that. The other thing to bear in mind is that we're expected to kind of embody British values as well. So it's about our conduct as well as what we actually explicitly teach in class. Obviously in Leicester, we've got learners from all over the globe in classes, and you can have some really fruitful discussions. And I know some have been going on in classes already this year, from getting learners just to consider whether those British values that are in our British Value Statement are those in their experience in other countries of the world, and also just asking the question about whether we live up to those in this country ourselves, and whether they're really being manifest in what people's real experience of this country is. Again, I'm putting more information and resources about how to promote British values up on the Staff Filing Cabinet and Tutor Toolkit. It's in the Safeguarding and Learner Welfare section, so you can have access to that. And you should all have seen this several times probably by now, but this is our British values statement, and this is, you know, our interpretation of what these British values look like in the classroom. There is nothing new in this. We've been doing this in community education for as long as I've been around, and it can be a really important part of what we do. Now, if you've got any more questions or concerns, please raise them within your team meetings. Please drop me an email, ask me. If I don't know the answer, then I'll have to go away and find out. But please don't shy away from this subject. It's something that is very clearly something we have to do legally, but actually morally as well. So thank you.